Hi guys, welcome back to our little cottage here on the river in the far north of Idaho. So this past week we started the work on expanding my garden and chicken area, and I've shown in a previous video, and I'll have it linked in the description box below, I kind of showed the small space that I've been using for my chickens in my garden and how I kind of maximized that space for having both. But now I actually get to have a bigger space, and I'm very excited about that. And so this space, though, that we are clearing had a few trees that used to be there, but the stumps and the roots still remained. So we needed to pull out the big guns, and someone came and helped with their excavator to pull up the stumps and the roots and just kind of get the big stuff out of the ground. And there is still one huge tree stump that he worked on for quite a while. And even when my husband got home, they pulled out the chainsaw and tried to saw it in half and break it apart that way. And it was pretty clear this thing is not budging. You really need a much larger excavator to get it out. So we are going to work with it, and I'll explain here in a minute how we're going to kind of work around it. But yeah, he came and he got all the big stuff up, and now we're just waiting for him to come back and grab this big pile of stuff and take it away. And we will then start working on the soil in this area, and we'll put up a fence. We'll also be building a new chicken coop as well. So here you can see the huge pile that needs to be taken away, and the chickens absolutely loved it. They found all sorts of yummy bugs and grubs in all of that wood. And here in a second you'll be able to see the huge stump that did not want to budge, and they ended up just taking the chainsaw and cutting it flat. And so what we're going to do is just put the dirt back around it till it'll probably be pretty even with the ground. And then I will just take and put some pots, some planters maybe, and I will just grow some flowers or herbs in pots on top of the stump. So we'll just have to make the best of it. So yeah, this little area here is going to be my expanded garden, and it'll be probably, a little over 2.5 times larger than my garden area is now. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm just excited to be able to grow more and be able to can more. And of course, I will be sharing all of that with you guys here on this channel. But here you can see the flattened stump as I was explaining before. So this will just be filled in with dirt. And like I said, I will just use some pots and grow some flowers or some herbs on top of it. So here I am filling up some trays with some potting soil for starting some of my vegetable seeds. And I did this part outside just because you can get pretty messy with it and you don't have to worry about dirt flying everywhere, because I'm going to do this in my little storage slash old garage area, which I will explain that area here in a minute in the video. But anyway, it's just nice to do this outside because you can be as dirty as you want and not have to worry about it. And so I just filled up these little trays with potting mix. Now, I think you really want to use like a seedling mix, but I didn't have one. So I just used my potting mix. And I have done this before, so it works okay if that's all you have. Okay, so now I'm going to try and figure out which seeds I want to plant now and which seeds I want to plant later. I already have kind of a rough idea of what I'm going to do. This space here that you see me in used to be our garage, but it is now, the back half is now my son's bedroom, and this half is eventually going to be the new entryway into the house. Plus we will also have a half bath. So I think half, or is it a quarter? I don't know, but it's just going to be a bath with a sink and a toilet. That's it. So that's going to be in this space. And then also a small walk-in pantry, which I have to say I'm very excited for. So this space here is kind of a weird, doesn't really know what it is currently. It's storage, it's my pantry, it's where I'm going to be starting my seeds. Yeah, so anyway, it is what it is. It's actually a whole lot more organized than it used to be. But anyway, so I'm going to figure out exactly what seeds I want to plant right now to put under my little grow light. I only have one grow light currently. I do have a little, it's a little greenhouse, a little mini greenhouse that can be put up and then also taken down and put into storage. I will be putting that up in a few weeks. It's not time to put it up just yet. Probably won't be till the middle of April that I put it up. And then that way what I can do is when these seeds need to be transferred to bigger pots, hopefully by that time, and I have the greenhouse up, I can put them into bigger pots and stick them out in the greenhouse and maybe start some fresh seeds inside. We'll see. I'm still figuring it out. I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants this year, especially with that I'm going to have a new bigger space, and just kind of seeing what exactly that's going to look like, what I'm going to grow, the space I have for what I'm going to grow. So yeah, it's kind of a trial and error year when it comes to my garden this year. So I hope you will enjoy this little process and journey with me. And then in these trays, I didn't put one of these little plastic liners with the little seed spaces in there. These are going to be for my onions, and I'll show that when I'm planting my onion seeds. My onions are going to go in here. And then these also came with these lids. So you can put a lid on the top, and it makes it like a little greenhouse, kind of a little greenhouse effect. There's also this little thing on the top, a little vent on the top that you can adjust if you want more or less airflow. So anyways, that was pretty cool that those came with that. And these I will be using for a little while the seeds are germinating. And we'll just kind of see how the air temp is in this space. It still obviously has the garage door, so it stays fairly warm, but it's still a lot cooler than the rest of the house. So I'm just going to have to keep an eye on it and see how the air temp in here goes. You know, things have kind of warmed up a bit, but we're still getting, you know, pretty chilly at night. So I do have a heat mat, which I will show you guys as well, that will go under the seeds to kind of keep the soil warm as they're germinating. So there's that. And you might have seen that I was using black latex gloves. I think they're latex, but they're like, you know, doctor's office gloves, but they're black. My husband always has a big box of those on hand just because of what he does for work, and he uses them for when he's like changing the oil and working on cars and stuff. But I like to use those when I'm working in the garden and when I'm, you know, doing this kind of thing, because obviously your hands don't get dirty and it doesn't get under your fingernails, but also because it's that tight against your skin, you still have like the dexterity of doing small little things with your fingers than if you have like gardening gloves on. So, I mean, they can get a little sweaty, but I actually prefer to use those. So, I suggest giving them a try. If you're kind of frustrated with, you know, gardening gloves and how, you know, thick they are, and you can't really do little small movements with your fingers necessarily, definitely give those latex gloves a try. Okay, so here are the seeds that I have, and here are the beets. And these actually, beets do not get sown indoors. You do not plant these in pots and then transplant them. These need to be planted directly outside in your garden. So I will do that when the time comes, which is still a little while from now. So these are going to have to wait. I got the Cylindra beets, which are a longer, like they're not round. They're a nice kind of a longer beet, and they're supposed to be really good for like smaller garden spaces. I have grown them before, and I really like them. Then I have some pole beans, and these do not get planted in pots indoors. So these are going to go directly outside when the time comes. And then cucumbers, and I got a bushy pickling cucumber, and I've grown these before, and they're really small. I really love them, and they're perfect for obviously making pickles. And so these ones we do want to start inside. So I will be starting these, I think, 3 to 7. Yep, I'll be starting these today. Then of course we've got carrots, and these do not get sown indoors. These go directly into your garden when it's time. And then I also have fennel, and this will be, let's see, 4 weeks prior to planting outside. So I might hold off on planting these because it says 4 weeks prior to planting outside, and I just don't think the garden's not going to be ready to plant these just yet. So yeah, I'm going to hold off on these for a little bit. I probably will start them inside, maybe even just in my little greenhouse when it's ready and when the temperatures are good. So holding off on that. I got 3 different types of tomatoes. This is a Brandywine slicing tomato. This one I will be starting today. And then another early cherry tomato. And this one, again, I will be starting this today. And then a San Marzano. And yes, I will be planting that today. We've got some leeks, and yes, I will be starting some of these today. I have never grown leeks, so this is going to be a bit of an experiment for me. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely learning, and so I will be starting some of these today. Then I also have some dill, and this one I will be starting inside today. And then some zucchini. This one I'm going to probably hold off on and probably start these in my little greenhouse. And this is a Black Beauty zucchini, and I have always grown this one. Absolutely love it. Love it. It's my go-to. So, And then I've got some Tom Thumb butterhead lettuce. This is my all-time favorite lettuce to grow in the garden. It makes these little tiny, like mini heads like of a butterhead lettuce. They're really like maybe only the size of a softball or a baseball even. And they're so lovely to have. And I always do a rotation so that you kind of constantly have these little heads of lettuce growing, and it's perfect. You can just grab one and fresh from the garden, cut it up and have a salad. So love those, and they're absolutely delicious. Now I'm going to grow some jalapenos this year. Oh yeah, so the Tom Thumb, I'm going to, yeah, I will go ahead and start some of that today. Now the jalapeno, yep, I'm going to start this today as well. I have never grown jalapenos before, so again, this is a bit of an experiment. I'm going to be learning, and hopefully these will do good. I'm going to do a little section of my garden that's a salsa garden. So it's going to have jalapenos, onions, a tomato plant, and then also like at some point it'll have like some cilantro. So anyways, that'll be fun. So I'll plant some of those today. Now I've got some Easter egg radishes. These go directly in the soil, so these have to wait. I love the Easter egg radishes because you're going to get all kinds of like different colors. I think these ones are red and white and purple, so they're just really, really pretty, and they're delicious. Then we've got some onions. Actually, this is a shallot. So these I'm going to start today. I've never grown shallots before, so again, experiment, but we'll have some fun with it, see how that goes. This is a red onion. It's a storage onion. Start some of those today. I have grown onions before, way back when, and that was over in Western Washington, which is a different climate than here. And I always just did onion starts. I always just bought onion starts from the store. So we'll see. This is an experiment for me to start my onions from seeds. And this is another onion. It's a storage onion. So yeah. Okay, let's get planting. Okay, so I think I have figured out what I'm going to do. In these pots here that don't have one of the liners, one of these things in them, I'm going to do my 3 different types of onions and my leeks. And so I'm going to start with, this is Expression F1. And all my seeds, I should mention, are from Territorial Seeds. This video is not sponsored. I have just always used Territorial Seeds. So they're kind of my go-to. They're a company in Oregon. And so, yeah. So this one is called Expression F1. It's a storage onion. This amazing variety produces enormous globes, 4 inches across, with tan skin and light yellow flesh. That's mildly sweet with a hint of spice. If you like candy onion, you'll be pleased to know that Expression is similar but exhibits higher disease resistance. So intermediate day variety. I have no idea what that means. So I am just, like I said, I'm experimenting. So I'm sure that's important information to know. I just don't know what it means. So I will definitely be doing some research and figuring that out. And I do have some blogging friends who are gardeners, and I'm sure they will, if they watch this, they're going to be like, I know exactly what that means, Annie. So of course I will be thinning these out. Once they start to grow, you'll have to thin them slightly. So I'm just kind of gonna just space them as best I can and just get quite a few in here. And like I said, this isn't really a tutorial on how to grow onions, okay? I'm just showing you how I start my seeds. So yeah, don't come to me for advice on how to grow your onions. I am learning. Okay, so now I need to label these so I do not forget, because I have done that before, and then it's a really fun guessing game, and it's kind of a surprise. Okay, so these are the expression onion. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stick that right there so I know what those are. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to take a little bit of soil from one of these other pots just to kind of cover up what I just did. Okay. Now, another great thing to have is a spray bottle. And this is fantastic for if you're going to try and take like a little cup of water or something and water these. It's horrible. And I say that from experience because I've tried to do that before. So, spray bottle with on the misting setting, and you just give it a light little mist, and this works beautifully. So, get yourself a spray bottle and one that you've not used bleach in, because that would be bad, obviously. So yeah, and you just get that a little bit moist. And then this is great, you know, when you come out to check on your seedlings, and you can just give them a little spray. Just keep the water bottle next to where you are growing them. Beautiful. Okay, there's one down. All right, now we're gonna do these Red Mountain F1s. Earlier and deeper colored than Red Wing, Red Mountain's high quality harvests of luminous bulbs have an appealing crisp texture and mild flavor. Plants produce strong tops and good disease resistance. Okay, so basically the planting instructions are the same as the other one. In here. I'm sure I could be a little bit more meticulous with this, but yeah. You know, the tagline of my blog includes rustic gardening, so that kind of gives you a little bit of a insight into my style of gardening. Okay, now I'm going to borrow some soil from another one and just kind of sprinkle some over the top. And then we will label this one. And so this one is the Red Mountain Onion. Oh, let me spray it first. All right, that should be good. And these ones, the onions, I'm definitely going to use the little lids. For now, just to give them a little bit more insulation, a little bit more warmth to get started. Okay. All right, now I'm going to start planting the shallots and the leeks, and I think I'm just going to do both of those the exact same way I did the onions. Okay, so now I'm planting the tomatoes. And these ones are the cherry tomatoes. And I'm just doing a few per little, what do I call them? Little pod, little section. I'm actually going to do extra of these. I had an extra tray, so I'm going to do extra tomatoes just for the heck of it. And I don't know, I can probably give some, if I have way too many plants that are doing well, I can just give them to other friends who have gardens. So, all right. So these are the cherry tomatoes planted. I'm going to, oh, I got some soil in my seeds. Okay. I'm going to label these first thing, so I do not forget. These are the cherry. Stick this right in this row so I know this whole row is cherry. I'm going to do one more for that one, because knowing me, I will forget and it'll be a disaster. Okay, not a disaster, but just a guessing game. Okay, now I'm going to, so I did cherry. Now I'm going to do, these are the Brandywine slicing tomato. And I have grown all of these tomatoes before. And so I think, you know, when you garden, you kind of learn and you kind of figure out, you know, what types of vegetables you like to grow and that your family is actually going to eat. So I think it's really important to grow stuff that you're actually going to eat, because you can get kind of excited and, like, you know, just want to do all the things, which I've done before. And then you don't end up actually eating some of it. So it's always good just to figure out what you and your family like to eat. Okay, so there's the Brandywine. I will label these. Brandywine. Like so. And then the San Marzano. Now the San Marzano are like aroma tomato type. Like, these ones are so good for making tomato sauce with. It's kind of the one that everyone uses for those, for tomato sauce, tomato paste. So I'm just doing like 3, trying to just get 3 seeds into each one, because you will, of course, thin these when the time comes. So that just kind of gives you a pick to choose from when it's time to thin them. All right. Mark these. Oops, this one already had writing on it. So these are San Marzano. Now I'm going to give these guys a little spray. Make sure they're covered here. Double check. Okay. Okay, these ones are also going to get lids. I think I'm just going to put lids on all of them just while we are working on germinating. Oops, that's not gonna work. Just to help keep them a little bit warmer. Okay, so now I'm gonna just really quickly get the Tom Thumb lettuce planted, the dill, and the jalapeno. Okay, so this is the shelf where I am going to have my seeds growing. This is my little grow light. It actually came with a whole setup where there was like a bar for it to hang off of, but because I'm doing it on the shelf, that wouldn't work. So I just tied it to the actual shelving that's here. This is the heating mat. I've never actually used one before. This one my dad gave me. So I'm going to give it a try. Yeah. So, yeah. We're going to give it a try. So I do have to get this all set up. I had to buy a little extension cord because there was no plug-in close enough to this. So anyway, I just got to get this plugged in, and this right here is actually really cool. My dad got me this for Christmas, and it is a hori hori knife from Japan, and its purpose is for gardening, and it does have sharp edges on it, like a serrated edge and then another sharper edge, and then it also has measurements on it. And so it's for, digging in the garden, planting seeds, things like that. Very, very cool. So he got that for me for Christmas, and I am very excited to get to use it in my garden. So let me set this aside. Okay, let me get the seeds up here and we'll kind of see how much space we're working with. I've got to figure out the cord situation because I'm going to have cords all over the place here. So we'll figure it out. Okay, let's get the seeds up here real quick. Okay, so here's the onions. Now some of these, the mat is not going to be big enough for all of them to sit on. So it is what it is. Hopefully there'll just be enough heat that it'll be fine. And then here are my leeks and shallots, and I'm thinking I'm actually going to have to do them this way. Otherwise, not all are going to fit. And the first time I used this grow light, I had to really pack them in too. So, and it still worked out okay. So here are the tomatoes and the lettuce. And some more tomatoes and the jalapenos. and the dill. I think I can move things down a little bit farther this way. I think I'm actually wondering if I need to lower the grow light a little bit. We'll see. Okay, so there they are. Let me get the light on. All right. And there it is. Yay! All right, so the light's on. Now to figure out the heating mat. And I'm gonna have to mess with that a little bit, and then I'll let you know if I get it working. So, okay. So I think the heating mat is on. I'll have to keep checking it. But the air temperature in here isn't too bad. So I'm hoping that it's actually going to be fine. Like even if the heating mat doesn't end up working, I'm hoping it'll be okay. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so I'm like waiting to see if I can feel the heat mat warming up at all. And I just can't, at this point I can't. Doesn't feel like, oh no, I think it is heating up a little bit. Okay, now I think it's set for 66 degrees is what it looks like to me. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to mess with the settings too much because yeah, I'm just not quite sure about it. So it's set to 66. I think they say to have your soil like, 50 degrees, between 50 and 70. I think it all depends. I don't know, you guys. Like I said, I'm just kind of a fly by the seat of my pants type of gardener. So yeah, as long as I'm not cooking them, I think we'll be okay. All right. So here's my little setup. I've got my seeds started. Now we have to wait for them to pop up. It's always a little bit, I always feel a little impatient. I'll come out and check on them like multiple times a day, even though there's just I'm not gonna see anything. But anyway, this is the part where we have to just hurry up and wait for our little seedlings to pop up. Very excited. Okay guys, so I will definitely be posting more videos as my seeds start to grow and we get more work done on my garden and all of that work progresses. So be watching for that. Head on over to my blog, homespunannie.com, and check out some of my recipes. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, share with someone else you think would enjoy it, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.